here in Assen since Casey Stoner back in 2012, and Stoner of course on that day did it on a Repsol Honda machine. So Marc Marquez will be hoping that he can break that lingering pole jinx here in Assen.
Here is Cal Crutchlow then. No podium of course for him since that race victory in Argentina, but his form has been picking up since the big crash he suffered in France. Most recently, of course, the strong fourth in Catalonia.
Yeah, his fourth top six finish in the opening 7 races, Steve. So yeah, coming into good form, the 32-year-old British rider, Simon.
Hi guys, I'm on the grid with Alvaro Bautista. Alvaro, I wanted to come and talk to you because qualifying went excellent for you pretty much every session at Assen, and you're next to Danilo Petrucci and Lorenzo, you know, it's pretty impressive. So how do you feel going into today's race?
Yeah, for sure we are growing up during all the season, because the start in the first races we were in a difficult moment because we struggled with the bike setup and I didn't feel so good, no. But after Jerez race I start to feel much better, and now race by race we are getting more close to the front guys, no. This weekend for sure has been our best qualifying so far. So just in the race, I know our pace is not too bad. No, in the last races our pace was good, but the problem was the start. No, now we're starting from more in the front. My target is just to stay with the group and then see what happens. No, but nothing special. No, just try to get my feeling, my rhythm, and then we'll see what happens. No, today is quite tricky because it's so windy, so we have to be very careful.
Best of luck, Alvaro.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Simon. Alvaro, yeah, making some good points there. He just wants to continue this run of consistency, Matt, at the circuit where he's not had the greatest of results.
No, he hasn't by far. His best qualifying of the season, beating his previous best, which was a lowly 16th in Mugello. Here's Maverick Vinales then. Never had a top 6 finish in his previous 3 visits here to Assen in MotoGP. The last time he didn't finish a MotoGP race was right here in Assen, when he crashed out of that final chicane while he was fighting for the top 6. And it's 20 races, or it will be 20 races, without a victory for Maverick Vinales today. So the start is going to be key. The start also important. He's had shockers in Mugello on the front row, 10th on the first lap, a bad start in Barcelona, 4th to 10th. How will he fare today in this 26-lap race? Back on the grid to Simon.
I'm standing next to Maverick Vinales. We spoke to him in the last one, so I thought we'd have a quick chat to Wilco Zeelenberg, who's his rider coach and used to ride back in my day. Wilco, tell us what have you been working on with Maverick to help, you know, the problems he's been having in the last races?
Yeah, it was clear that for everybody, the first 3-4 laps, we were lacking pace. And already in Barcelona, we tried to improve that area by, you know, better warming up sighting lap and better heating up the tires in the warm-up lap. That helped a bit, but actually not enough. So finally, we still try to improve that area. Now we found out that even with the carbon front fork, it's stopping with a heavy bike. It helps to keep the bike a little bit more stable. So especially in the first 3-4 laps, you know, the stopping performance was not, you know, good enough in his package, and that's where we try to work on.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Yeah, fascinating insight as always from Wilco Zeelenberg. The start all key for Maverick Vinales, and certainly those first 3 or 4 laps where he's really struggled in that area so far this year.
A season of inconsistency for Andrea Iannone, that's the story, and tyre life seems to be a big problem for him. 10th in Catalonia, having led on the opening lap, and of course we know about his form before that. A solid 4th in Italy, but again tyre life came back to bite him. 2 podiums on the trot earlier on in the season as well, but Andrea Iannone, it's just a bit difficult at the moment, Matt, to kind of work out what you're going to get from him on a Sunday. Yeah,
it is. 3 top 4 in the last 5 though. The fans trying to get a Mexican wave going here in the grandstands. That's on the run down to the Harbach first corner. Johann Zarco looks serene, he looks relaxed, although he says he's been overstressed. A few off-circuit distractions, it appears, have just taken Johann Zarco's eye off the 8 ball a little bit, but he'll be looking to bounce back here in Assen. Johann Zarco Pole position last year, of course. He was the first French rider since Olivier Jacques in 2002 to have a Premier Class pole position. It's been tougher going this weekend, though.
Here is Andrea Dovizioso then, 2 podiums to his name. The first, of course, the opening night of the season, the race win in Qatar. The last coming in Mugello, but 3 crashes in the last 4 races means this is a mighty important day to get some points. Simon.
I'm standing with Romano Albithiano. We're standing next to Aleix on the grid, and Aleix is only 2/10 down on pole position on the Aprilia. What a stunning result, Romano. Why do you think that is here at Essen?
I think we are slowly reaching the level we had at the end of the last season after a quite difficult start. So I hope to see him in this position more and more in the season.
Best of luck, Romano.
Sorry?
Best of luck.
Okay.
Yeah, best of luck indeed to Aleix Espargaro. Good ride that by Aleix, equaling his best qualifying result of the season. That was a 7th in Argentina. Danilo Petrucci just talking to German TV on the grid. His main concern is going to be tyre life. He's been overheating the tyres much quicker than some of his rivals this weekend. And of course, coming from 11th place is a bit of a double-edged sword for Petrucci. He's got to attack and be aggressive to make up places in the early laps. But what that means is he'll generate a lot of heat in those tyres and abuse them as well. So he can't be calm at the start because he's got to try and make up places on the grid. But he won't want to overburn those tyres. Back to you on the grid, Simon.
I've got Paolo Ciabatti with me. We're standing right behind Dovi on the grid, and I have to say, Paolo, he seemed very confident in the rider brief last night. Do you believe that he's confident going into the race to do really well, like podium or better?
Yeah, I think a podium is a realistic possibility for the race. Obviously, it will depend very much on how riders can manage the tires, especially, and how the wind might affect the riding style. We saw that Marquez has an advantage, especially in the last sector. He's gaining some 1/10 of a second, but if we can get a good start with both riders, and I think also Jorge can do a good start and join the group at the head of the race at the first corner, then we can have a race where we can be contenders for the podium.
Good luck, Paolo.
Thank you.
Thanks very much to Paolo Ciabatti there and to Simon Crafar. I barely recognised Alvaro Bautista there on the grid, sporting a tash.
Yeah, he was very different looking, Alvaro Bautista. Here's Tito Rabat. He qualified in 14th place yesterday. Disappointing end to his home race in Barcelona a couple of weeks ago. That's a very fiery crash that forced him out at the first corner in Barcelona. A cracked exhaust, then burnt through, well, the hot gases then burnt through an oil line and caused the fire on his Reale Avinci Ducati. Tito Rabat, not a bad record here in Assen, second behind Johan Zarco in 2015.
Hafiz Syahrin, well, he always would like to be competitive against Franco Morbidelli. He'll be upset that Franco's not out there, but there's an opportunity here for him to retake the lead in the Rookie of the Year competition. A good season so far for Hafiz. The top 10 here in Moto2 before. He starts 15th on the grid today and is the fastest of our, no, he isn't. Nakagami is of course fastest of our rookies. And here's Jack Miller, struggling a bit at the moment, Matt.
Yeah, really struggling. Hasn't been able to get the rear grip he wants out of the back of that Pramac Ducati. The race winner here 2 years ago, of course. That famous victory after Valentino Rossi crashed out. Now we're hearing some late news emerging from Michelin of some late tyre changes on the grid. Dani Pedrosa and Valentino Rossi have dropped down to a soft rear tyre. Cal Crutchlow and Marc Marquez have done the same. So they've gone down 2 steps. They came to the grid, all 4 of them on the hard rear tyre. Now, I just wonder, Steve, whether this breeze, this real strong wind, it's cooling the tyres too much. They're just worried with the hard, it won't generate as much temperature in there that they need to get it going in the early laps. That may be a consideration because we've got glorious clear blue skies here, but there is a lot of breeze around, as Simon Crafar said, and that's going to have an impact on tyre temperature. Simon, what do you think?
I think that the track temperature is still really high, the ambient temperature is. I think they're playing games, you know, to put each other off, because it was a close choice, you know, so why not tell everyone you're going to run it hard and then put the soft in at the last minute? That's what I believe.
Well, Valentino Rossi still in deep discussions with his Michelin technician. You've got to go a long, long way back on the grid to find this man, Dani Pedrosa, who's had a horrible weekend, a weekend to forget in many respects. He's down in 18th place on the grid. He said yesterday that all this talk, all the endless speculation about a possible move to a new Petronas Yamaha team, it has become a distraction. He hasn't been able to ride with a free mind at all, Dani Pedrosa. 18th place on the grid. It's a horrible run. He's in his longest run without a podium since the start of his Grand Prix career way back in 2001. And it's going to be tough going from so far back on the grid. 18th for Pedrosa.
Karel Abraham there, the Czech rider then. He'll be starting quite far down on the grid. Got a really good result here last year, don't forget. And managed to finish in 7th place. The BMW roars away and we inch closer to the next chapter of MotoGP here from the TT circuit in Assen. Dovizioso wins the opening race of 2018. Out of the slipstream comes Cal Crutchlow and he leads again. Cal Crutchlow wins! Side by side, Marquez back through. Welcome to Jerez. Oh, Dovizioso, Lorenzo and Pedrosa are all down. Wow, another great show.
Absolutely untouchable.
It's a hat-trick for Marc Marquez, takes his 3rd victory. Welcome to Mugello. Valentino Rossi is on pole.
Lorenzo then, he's going to blast that Ducati.
Oh, he's down, Marquez is down. World Championship has tried to save it. Jorge Lorenzo is back in business. We're all ready for action here.
Well wide. A big mistake then by Andrea Iannone.
On the home straight we go. Side by side. The power of the Ducati here. Oh, he's down. Dovizioso goes down.
Valentino Rossi into podium position.
It's double delight for Jorge Lorenzo here in Barcelona. Well, that's what's happened up until now. Who wins the next one? Marc Marquez was on a run of 3 until Jorge Lorenzo spoilt the party, but he still has a 27-point lead. And there's confirmation of the soft rear tyres. Exactly the same tyre choice for the top 3 on the front row. Valentino Rossi starting from 3rd, Cal Crutchlow 2nd. But on pole here in the Netherlands, it's Marc Marquez.
"26 laps of the legendary and iconic TT Assen circuit await the MotoGP riders. Marc Marquez starting from pole position for the 46th time in his MotoGP career. Joined on the front row by Cal Crutchlow and Valentino Rossi, chasing an 11th win here in Assen. Row 2, Andrea Dovizioso, Alex Rins and Maverick Vinales. Aleix Espargaro, Johan Zarco and Andrea Iannone on row 3. Jorge Lorenzo, winner in Mugello and Barcelona, heads row 4 from Danilo Petrucci and Alvaro Bautista. Nakagami, Rabat and Siren on row 5. 2016 Dutch TT winner Jack Miller heads row 6 from Scott Redding, and Dani Pedrosa way down in 18th place. Karel Abraham and the 2 KTMs of Bradley Smith and Pol Espargaro on row 7, with Tom Luthi and Xavier Simeon on row 8. 23 riders starting today, of course, after the unfortunate injury for Franco Morbidelli in FP3 yesterday. So already some big decisions taken ahead of this 26-lap race, with Valentino Rossi in your picture, Marc Marquez on pole and Cal Crutchlow. All the riders on that front row of the grid making lane changes from the hard Michelin rear tyre down to the soft rear tyre. That's going to be interesting to see how that all unfolds, certainly at the start of this race.
Just wonder, don't you, whether Marc Marquez, knowing that the soft has worked so well for him in free practice, gives him that extra bit of grip in the early stages where he's trying to make his breakaway.
Well, we said, didn't we, Steve? Hard, medium or soft, it made no difference to Marc Marquez. He was able to run laps in the high 133s, low 134s for fun. He could do 134s around here on square tyres, Marc Marquez. But it's interesting that they made that late call. Everybody, or the majority of that top 6 bar Maverick Vinales, seemed convinced that they were going to go on the hard rear tyre. Simon?
I just asked Christian Bourguignon, Cal Crutchlow's crew chief, why they went, changed to the soft, and he said they did plan on go to the hard, but he said it once they got on, you know, on the front row. He said you can't go with that front group on the hard in the beginning, and if you know, basically if you can go on the soft, stay in that front group, he said even if the tire's gone down a bit, you can hang on to the back of that front group. But with the hard, if you drop back too far, you can't get to the front group.
Yeah, well, it's a fascinating one, isn't it? Because none of them really want to lose sight of Marc Marquez. That's the point. His pace has been brilliant so far this weekend. The early laps here are going to be crucial. The first lap is going to be crucial. The first corner could be mayhem.
The start's going to be absolutely critical. Look at that, 105,000 fans rammed into this iconic Assen circuit. There is not a spare seat in the house, and they're about to be treated to what we hope is going to be a spectacular show. The start vital. Marquez made a dynamic electric start of the line in Barcelona. He couldn't upset Jorge Lorenzo's early rhythm. Can Cal Crutchlow and Valentino Rossi, starting on that front row with your world champion, your world championship leader, get ahead of Marc Marquez, rough him up, break up his rhythm? And what about Maverick Viñales? It's so crucial to see the start that Viñales makes.
Next up, Netherlands. It's time for Assen. Marquez on pole, and the lights go out. A good start from Cal Crutchlow. I'm not sure Marquez got away so well in the initial stages, but he's got it hooked up now. And as they charge in towards turn one, it is Marquez with the start he needed. He gets the whole shot.
Look at Lorenzo around the outside of everybody. Lorenzo's come from 10th. He's up the inside now of Cal Crutchlow at turn two. Jorge Lorenzo, what a start by the race winner in Mugello at Barcelona. He's come from 10th to 2nd. Brilliant by Lorenzo. Where did that come from?
Oh, critical there that Marquez got through turn 5 as well, unscathed. There's a bit of sitting up there, but yeah, what a start for Jorge Lorenzo, and now he winds up the power on that Italian machine. But it is Marc Marquez that leads down the Weinschlag. Dovizioso, it looks like he's moved up into 3rd place now as well, past Cal Crutchlow.
Lorenzo just rode around the outside of everybody, bar Marquez in that first corner. Brilliant. Crutchlow can't find a way through as yet on Dovizioso. Rossi's been pushed back a couple of places from 3rd to 5th. What about the start for Maverick Viñales? Again, it's a poor one, a sluggish one. He's dropped from 6th to 9th place, so work to do again for Viñales in the early stage of this race. Is Lorenzo attacking? He is! He's going up the inside of Marquez. That's going to be super, super tight. He's got the inside line, leans on Marquez. That's brilliant by Lorenzo. He leads for the 3rd race in a row on the Ducati.
Oh, he's looking for the treble, although he just makes a bit of an error there on the edge, on the exit, and here comes Marc Marquez again. He didn't like that move, and here he comes. This is so quick. He can't get through, though. A bit wide is Lorenzo here on the opening lap, and the crowd are going to go mad. They won't believe their eyes. Number 99 it is that's going to lead across the line at the end of lap 1.
Sure, Marquez's right hand there touched Lorenzo's left knee. We know how weak Lorenzo's been in that 4th sector, but he was able to hold off Marc Marquez on that first lap. A breathtaking first lap by Jorge Lorenzo. He's come from 10th to lead here in Assen. We were hoping that Valentino Rossi, Cal Crutchlow and Andrea Dovizioso could get the lightning start to make a race of it, but it's Jorge Lorenzo from row 4 that's taken the lead astonishingly.
Look at the speed that Marquez has got some places there in sector 1, but there's a defensive line taken from Marquez. Rossi now is closing up on the tail of Marc Marquez. His Ducati, Honda, Yamaha, as we head down onto the Weinschlag straight. And look at the power of the Ducati as it roars past and away from Marc Marquez.
He knows he's got to have this gap, though, in the first 2 or 3 sectors as Valentino Rossi tries to find a way through, swarming all over the rear tyre Marc Marquez. Will Marquez try and attack Lorenzo in that 4th sector? All weekend in sector 4, Lorenzo's been as much as 0.4 of a second slower than the rest of the field. He's found something in terms of stability, though, in that final sector for the race, and he still leads the way. Crutchlow hasn't been able to find his way back through, and Andrea Dovizioso. Crutchlow started 2nd, he's in 5th place with the 2 Suzukis of Alex Rins and Andrea Iannone behind him. Viñales has picked up 1 place, but he's only in 8th place. Can't make any significant inroads towards the top 3. Here's Lorenzo then, still leading.
Here comes Marc Marquez. This has been his territory. Oh, what a move from Marquez up the inside into turn 15. Is he going to go back on the brakes here, Jorge Lorenzo? No, he's not. And that is why he's had the advantage, the speed he carried there.
He rams it up the inside of Lorenzo at Ramshot. What a brave move by Marc Marquez. Dovizioso trying to find a way through on Rossi going into the first corner. Rossi, though, as we know, demon late on the brakes. There's no way through for Andrea Dovizioso. Now, Marc Marquez with clear track in front of him. He's had rhythm and pace all weekend to potentially break up the field. Can he do it now? He's hit the front for the first time.
Into turn 5 we go. Marquez, Lorenzo, Rossi, Dovizioso. Then it's Cal Crutchlow. We're on board now with the champion, Marc Marquez, the race leader. Onto the back straight. That's Jorge Lorenzo we're looking at as we now go into turn 6 and 7. And is he going to try the same thing that he tried on the opening lap?
Look at the Suzuki's piling the pressure on Cal Crutchlow there. Alex Rins last time around was the fastest man on the circuit in 6th place. Alex Rins on the podium here before with Moto 3 and Moto 2. And he's really putting pressure on Cal Crutchlow. Can't find a way through at turn 9. The bull, top end of the circuit now. They sweep through Mandavain for the 3rd time of asking. It's Marquez from Lorenzo. Sensational start from Jorge Lorenzo. Valentino Rossi started 3rd. He's just sitting in 3rd place right now. Dovizioso started 4th. That's exactly where he is. Crutchlow, Giannone, Rins and Vinales coming back into contention just at the top of your picture there.
So here we are then at the fastest part of the circuit. Look at that. Turn 15 is where Marquez is making up all that time. He won't allow them to be close enough to then pull the pin into the chicane. There's Valentino Rossi in 3rd with that soft rear tyre. Marquez just being told of the group behind him.
Yeah, fastest lap of the race then from Marquez at 1:34.478, about a 10th and a half quicker than Jorge Lorenzo behind him. Interestingly now, Lorenzo did still stick with that hard option rear tyre. Now, if he can hang in with Marc Marquez, there's not a lot of difference in performance and lap times between the hard and the soft, but you'd feel normal conventional wisdom would suggest that Lorenzo, if he can hang in there, would have the better grip at the end of the race. That's brilliant by Alex Rins. That's aggressive by Alex Rins. He's forced his way through on Cal Crutchlow at Strubin. So Alex Rins at turn 5 takes P5 from Crutchlow.
Oh, look at the speed of Jorge Lorenzo through turn 6. Surely not into turn 7. I thought he was going to pull off some move there. It's so quick into T7.
But crucially, Steve, at this stage of the race, Marquez has not been able to open up any kind of clear daylight between himself and Jorge Lorenzo. Lorenzo's having a move at turn 9 at the ball. That's brilliant by Jorge Lorenzo. He crashed there on Friday, did Jorge Lorenzo. Marquez tries to strike straight back, but Lorenzo's got the inside line going into Mandavain.
Not many people saw this one coming. A tight line there from Marquez. He has to sit up and out of it. He might just fall into the hands, though, now of Valentino Rossi, who's right on his tail. Jorge Lorenzo leads through sector 4, but this is the part of the circuit now as we flick left, where Marc Marquez in a moment will close up on Jorge Lorenzo. Will he be close enough to make a move? No, Rossi's now coming through. Dovizioso's there as well. What a race so far.
Here comes Rossi at the tip of chicane on Marc Marquez. That was such a controversial moment between the two of them back in 2015. Rossi finds a way through up into 2nd place. So Marc Marquez started this lap leading. He's been pushed back into 3rd place. And Dovizioso now attacks Marc Marquez. And Dovizioso's got the inside line. That was really, really tight. Marquez stands firm. He's rock solid, but Marquez getting a little bit, surprise, surprise, beaten up here.
Yeah, well, they had to get in there, didn't they, and try and rough him up. And that's exactly what's happening here at the moment. On board with Andrea Dovizioso. That's the tail of Marc Marquez, and he thought about it again. On to the back straight we go. It's Lorenzo, Rossi, Marquez, Dovi.
Yeah, then it's Alex Rins, Cal Crutchlow, Andrea Giannone, Maverick Vinales still in 8th place. He's only 1.3 seconds, though, off the race lead at the moment. It's been an awful, awful first few laps for Dani Pedrosa. He's down in 19th place at the moment, nowhere near the points Pedrosa. And look at the gap already that Lorenzo and Rossi have been able to establish once they found their way through on Marc Marquez. Classic timber chicane braking move by Rossi on Marquez last time around. And at this stage of the race, Marquez doesn't look particularly comfortable with that soft rear tyre, well, you've got to say.
He's been knocked out of his rhythm slightly. He's got faster pace than this. The pace actually isn't very... Oh! A massive moment there! And how have they both stayed up? I think that somehow did Lorenzo miss a gear? Rossi clatters into the back of him.
Well, something happened to Lorenzo there, surely. I mean, Rossi just, what a time to be on board with Jorge Lorenzo. Rossi just ploughed into the back of him. There's no way that Rossi had the better speed. Somebody was wide there. Was that Andrea Giannone, the final chicane? What? That was 5th gear, possibly 6th gear, flat out.
And there's problems. Is there something dangling down from Rossi's bike there?
Well,
I'm
the
not
contact
sure.
was huge. It was massive contact. Can't believe Rossi stayed on. Can't believe Lorenzo stayed on.
I'm not sure if there was something
Dovizioso's got Marquez in all the drama. What a first 5 laps it's been here. On lap 6 in Assen, and Dovizioso's found his way through a Marc Marquez. We are being treated to a classic Dutch TT. Oh, Marquez and Struben. That's brilliant, that's ruthless, that's merciless from Marquez. He pounces straight back on Andrea Dovizioso. Marquez back into the top 3.
Well, this is an extraordinary race so far. Lorenzo leads then from Rossi. What on earth happened just a moment ago between those two, and how did they both stay up? Alex Rins has got some really good pace. Don't count him out, number 42. And Maverick Vinales is coming into contention as well.
This is what happened.
Let's have a look as they exit. Lorenzo just seems to lose all sort of speed here. Rossi's closing up on him.
He lost the front. What a moment for Jorge Lorenzo. What a moment. Well, how did he stay? Look at that. The rear seat unit, you can see the impact that Valentino Rossi made. I don't know how on earth Lorenzo stayed on. Losing the front through Movenmir and Hoge Heide. That is in excess of 250 kilometres an hour. Rossi's about to pounce. Can he get close enough this time around? I still can't believe Lorenzo saved that. That was a Marc Marquez save, probably even better at the speed he was doing. It's astonishing, incredible by Lorenzo, saving a century.
I'll tell you what, we've got 20 laps to go of this. I'll have 50 of them if it's possible across the line. Lorenzo, Rossi, Marquez, Dovi, Rins, Crutchlow, and Vinales is the quickest of the lot.
He is, yeah. Fastest lap of the race has just been thrown in by Maverick Vinales at 1:34.133.
Mistake from Lorenzo on the exit there of turn 1, and they're all going to bunch up again.
Lorenzo's having a few twitchy moments, more than a few twitchy moments on that front tyre. Is Rossi going to strike at Struben? Rossi, no. He thought about it. Rossi coming under pressure. Rossi's wide. Yeah, he was wide. He just got in a fraction too hot there. And Marc Marquez, he needs no second invitation. You give Marc Marquez an inch, he's going to take a mile.
Good stuff from Marc Marquez then on the last couple of laps, and Dovi's through now on Valentino Rossi as well. It's been a shaky lap this from Valentino. He drops down to 4th now. So it's Lorenzo, Marquez, Dovizioso and Vinales now starting to get into the groove.
He's getting seriously racy, Maverick Vinales. It was Andrea Iannone on the Suzuki that made a mistake at the Timber Chicane a couple of laps ago, because that's dropped Iannone off this lead group. What a breathtaking, breathless first 6.5 laps this has been. Lorenzo then still leads the way. He starts this run back now through the fastest, most famous section of this Assen course. This was where he lost the front, right here a couple of laps ago. Oh, Dovizioso, that's brilliantly on the inside of Marc Marquez. We've got a Ducati 1-2 now here in Assen, and Dovizioso looking really strong. Is he going to pounce as well straight away on his teammate Jorge Lorenzo at the Timber Chicane? Not quite close enough this time to have a lunge up the inside of Lorenzo on the brakes. So, Lorenzo, Dovizioso, Marquez, Rossi, Rins, Vinales, Crutchlow, the top 7 riders over the line, split by just a second after 7 laps of unbelievable action here in Assen.
Johan Zarco and Andrea Iannone are getting invited into this party as well. Zarco's had a great move forward. There's Cal Crutchlow, then he lost a place to Vinales. Rins is looking really, really, really strong at the moment. He's trying to make a move on Valentino Rossi, and does.
Marquez is absolutely awesome at the Struben, as is Alex Rins. Marquez picks Dovizioso's pocket there, so there's a couple of place changes significant at the front of this race. Rins up to 4th.
Oh, the front end wobbling around there for both Marquez and Dovizioso. Dovizioso now trying to use the red power. Is he going to have a look up the inside? No room at the end there. And look who's right on the tail of Dovizioso again. It's Alex Rins now.
Did something with that big contact with Lorenzo, just have anything to do with Valentino Rossi just running a bit of not a slow pace by any stretch of the imagination, but he's struggling at the moment. That contact with Lorenzo, did that cause some damage to the front end of that Yamaha? We'll wait to find out, but Vinales now 6th place and looking really, really menacing. Crutchlow's
the power of that Ducati. Yeah. Dovizioso tries to make a move, he can't. Into turn 15, watch the speed of Marc Marquez here, on board now with Andrea Dovizioso as we go into the Timber Chicane. Rossi trying to bounce back on Alex Rins, but it's so tight through there.
How many moves have we seen Valentino Rossi down the years? Oh, Vinales got it out of shape, coming on the gas out of the final corner. And has that let Cal Crutchlow back through? No, it hasn't, but it certainly cost Vinales a bit of momentum.
Absolutely breathtaking race.
It's like a Moto3 race.
Well, it is, isn't it? Right then, here we are on board with Andrea Dovizioso. Now, this is where Marc Marquez, we're coming into territory of the number 93. Is he going to have a look up the inside of Lorenzo? Yes, he is. There might be contact. There isn't quite.
You just wonder, Steve, how much Marquez has just got in reserve here, just maybe preserving that soft rear tyre.
Well, he's been lapping comfortably in the low 134s. We're nowhere near that speed at the moment.
Rins got Dovizioso, you're right about Alex Rins. He has got some serious pace at this stage of the race. He's come from 5th on the grid, and Alex Rins now up into 3rd place. Next in his sights will be Marc Marquez. He was always confident yesterday, Alex Rins. He said after equaling his career best qualifying in 5th place that he felt a good start. If he could get away at the start of the race, he would be able to run the pace. And Marc Marquez, he was talking it up big, and he's delivering on Sunday when it really matters, is Alex Rins. He's swarming now all over the back of Marc Marquez. Is he going to try and find a way through in this 4th sector? He's certainly close enough to have a look at it.
He'll be big and brave if he does, because Marquez is so quick here. Dovizioso trying to challenge him as well, and they're all trying to chip away at each other. Viñales now we're on board with. He's chasing down his teammate Valentino Rossi.
Do you know what? Viñales is having a bit of movement already on that rear tyre. You can see there, we were on board with him. He had a twitch coming through Ramshoek. He had a twitch coming out of the Timmer chicane last time around. So Viñales, he's exerted real stress and pressure on that soft rear tyre. He's still hanging in there, though. This is the best MotoGP race we've had in 2018. Hold your breath, folks. Thankfully, we've still got another 17 laps to go.
Marquez is going to have another go at this. He failed last time. He's got it lined up this time. Turn 5. He wants to have a nibble at Jorge Lorenzo. That wide sweeping line, he can't quite get close enough.
Zarco.
And Zarco up the inside of Cal Crutchlow. The best race we've seen from Zarco for a few.
Yeah, that was a nicely executed move by Zarco. So that's pushed Cal Crutchlow back down into 7th place. Over the line last time around, the top 7, they were covered by, well, the top 8 were covered by just a second. That's Moto 3 standards normally. Dovizioso's found his way back through on Alex Rins. A Ducati grunt out of turn number 5. He would have just blasted by Rins on that Wienslang straight, although Rins retaliates straight away, almost at the fault.
That was a bit close there between those guys, and Valentino then thinks about going up the inside of Alex Rins. They stay in line for now. What a race. You just don't know where to look at the moment, and a big rear slide from Jorge Lorenzo at the front. Now, will that cost him some time? Marc Marquez is going to get right into his wheel tracks. Dovizioso is trying to use the power of the Ducati as well. He's got the inside line, but the door's closed.
Marquez chops Dovizioso's nose off. Viñales has got through on Rossi. Can Rossi find a way back through on his teammate? He can. Valentino Rossi, brilliantly executed move on Viñales coming into that Timmer chicane. He didn't want to get stuck behind Viñales for too long. What a race now. The gap between that top 8, just 9/10 of a second. And Andrea Iannone, while this scrap rages at the front, it's bringing Andrea Iannone back into contention as well in 9th.
Whoa. Here we are then on board with Maverick Viñales in 6th place, just ahead of Zarco, Crutchlow and Iannone. We knew there was going to be a big group, but we thought the fight would just be for 2nd. It could still be as yet. There's a long way to go because the pace is nowhere near what we thought it would be.
No, I mean, these guys at the moment, they're doing mid-135s. Predicted race pace was a 134.2, around that low 134s.
Either Simon's right and the wind's playing a bigger part than we thought, or someone's hiding something. At the moment, would it be worth the risk of trying to hide something? That's the question.
I mean, the pace at this stage of the race is over a second slower than what we were anticipating. You know, you just wonder whether it's so slow because the riders are thinking about tyre life. Rins, he had a look at Dovizioso last time around at the ball turn number 9. This time he's forced his way through. So Alex Rins back into the podium places. Davide Brivio, he won't have too much of those fingernails left by the end of this 26 lap if it carries on like this.
Zarco's through on Viñales now as well, so Johan Zarco's got his mojo back and he's not afraid. Here we are then with the leaders, another moment for Jorge Lorenzo out front, and look at Marquez trying to creep closer. Round turn 15 we go. Lorenzo, Marquez, Rins, Dovizioso. It's Ducati, Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, Ducati, Rossi up the inside of Dovizioso.
Brilliant, he got this fellow Italian there, Rossi. Another awesome move on the brakes coming into the Timmer chicane. So it'll be Lorenzo that leads at the first corner on lap number 12. Dovizioso can't fight back on Rossi into Harbach, the first corner. Viñales is in a little bit hot, runs a little bit wide, but he doesn't allow Zarco or Crutchlow to sweep on through.
On board here with Marc Marquez, we were anyway. Nakagami's got a 1.5 second penalty further back. As Alex Rins up the inside, there's a bit wide there from Marquez, and the Suzuki rider goes through. Marquez! How has he not gone down? He does it time and time again. He was off the bike, and he stays on, and he keeps the throttle pinned. He's lost a couple of places, and he's a bit hot into turn 6 as well.
And look at Vinales as well, through on Rossi at Rushken hook, and look at that, Vinales has gone around the outside, spinning that rear tyre. Can he find a way through on Marquez? Oh, that was really tight.
What a race this is.
There's paint swapping going on everywhere, and there you know he's made another mistake because he's lost touch with this lead group. There's been another mistake for Andrea Iannone, but Marquez, just like Jorge Lorenzo earlier on, slightly more sedate, slower speed. Look at this.
We're looking back now. Well, what a view this is. Watch Marc Marquez on the throttle, a bit of a nudge, and he's down. And how does he do it time and time again? It's incredible.
Credit to Alex Rins, because Marquez didn't leave him a lot of room at turn 5. But he took whatever room there was, Alex Rins. That was a brilliant, brave, bold move to do that to Marc Marquez. Take that, Marquez, the world champion.
The rhythm of Rossi has been disrupted. He's just dropped down to 7th for the time being.
I think maybe Rossi had to shut off when he saw Marc Marquez lose the front in front of it. It just would have cost him so much drive down that Beanstang straight. Yeah, Rossi's dropped behind Vinales and Zarco.
Up the inside he goes, off the Frenchman into turn 1. The incident involving Rins and Marquez currently being investigated. I don't think there's anything in that. I really don't. We've seen worse moves than that.
Well, that's just a pure racing incident. It was an aggressive move by Alex Rins, but
if you're
Marc Marquez has made a career out of those kind of moves.
If you're investigating that, then they're going to be busy for the rest of this race, because there's a lot more to come. Onto the back straight we go. Lorenzo, Rins, Dovizioso, Marquez. This has been the race of the season by a long stretch.
Look at Lorenzo. That's the biggest lead he's had in the whole race. This was the incident then involving Rins.
I just can't see how there's anything in that.
It didn't look like there was any contact.
But anyway, I don't think that they'll do anything more with that. I really don't. Simon.
There was nothing wrong with that, guys. They won't give him a penalty for that. Just to come back to you on the wind, I really believe it is the wind for 2 reasons. Like whenever it got wind up at Phillip Island, we're at least a 1.5 seconds slower a lap, which must be something similar to now. But second thing is, if you had any extra speed, you would check out of this group, this fight, because it's just too risky.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You know, if you do have something in your pocket, why would you risk all this? This is just brilliant stuff. Well, whatever's happened to the wind, thank you, because you provided us with something special. Lorenzo, Rins, Dovizioso, Marquez and Vinales all fly through the timber chicane. There's 13 laps to go. We don't want this to end. Dovizioso now then makes it a 1-2 for Ducati at a circuit that Ducati apparently don't like.
No, that was one only victory. Casey Stoner 10 years ago in 2008. Andrea Iannone's really suffering. He's obviously run into some rear grip issues, which he feared, because Iannone's dropped right out of this podium battle.
As we suspected, no further action taken after that incident.
Take it back.
Have it back, he says.
That's all about revenge, isn't it? That's Marc Marquez saying, well, whatever you do to me, mate, you can have it back and some.
Well, onto the back straight we go then. Onto the Vinschlang. That's Maverick Vinales we were on board with.
What do they say? Revenge is this best served sweet. I think Alex Rins has got a sweet tooth right now, because that was Marc Marquez, a little bit of payback.
Just imagine what Alex Rins is thinking, though. Look at the group of riders he's around at the moment and he's fighting with. This is something special. Crutchlow trying to stay in touch.
Alvaro Bautista's taken Andrea Iannone for 9th place. What's happened there to Maverick Vinales? He was out wide coming through the Bolt, because Alex Rins has moved back into 4th place.
All this time, Lorenzo just continues to lead. And we're not really
just keeping his powder dry and out of trouble. Although Dovizioso's got the drive coming out of Ducati. Not close enough, though, to strike on his teammate.
Let me remind you, these two have not actually had a proper ding-dong. Lorenzo has been home and clear the last 2 races. They don't really get along that well, the 2 Ducati riders, and they won't want to be beaten by each other.
And Andrea Dovizioso is not going to want his teammate to take a 3rd straight victory on the Ducati.
Here he comes, up the inside, brilliantly done. Dovi loves overtaking there, that is brilliantly done. He leads then. Marc Marquez wants a piece of the action in 3rd, a bit of a gap then forming back to Alex Rins in 4th.
Lorenzo's not going to take this line down, is he? Rins has just had a little bit wide. Here's Marc Marquez, he's going to attack Lorenzo at Struben, is he? No, Lorenzo runs that tight defensive line. You can just see how slow he was in the middle of the corner, though. Marc Marquez had to just check there. It looked like Marquez was definitely faster on corner entry and certainly more corner speed. Lorenzo just parked in the middle of the corner there, so he couldn't let Marquez through.
One thing Dovizioso is supreme at is keeping a decent pace, and he's had some decent pace so far this weekend. Now he's at the front with clear air. Can he do anything about it? As Maverick Vinales gets Alex Rins back again.
The last time Andrea Dovizioso took his teammate Jorge Lorenzo for the lead, seconds later he launched it in Le Mans. He won't be wanting the history to repeat itself. Now these three here are just starting to open up a bit of a gap back to Maverick Viñales. We're only just over the halfway stage.
The pace is hotting up slightly. They're down into the mid-34s now, and the cream's starting to rise to the top as Marc Marquez looks to find a way past Jorge Lorenzo. 12 laps to go. Coming in now to turn 15, Marc Marquez. That's brilliant and brave from the world champion.
Lorenzo's going to try and fight back. Is he on the brakes? The Timber chicane, he's not close enough. Alex Rins is getting a little bit beaten up by the two factory Yamahas. Rossi makes another move at the Timber chicane. He's made up team moves already in this race at that final chicane. So Rossi back into 5th place.
Lorenzo wide on the exit of turn 1, and it looks like he might just be running out of a bit of pace here, Jorge Lorenzo. Or unless it's just a bit of a blip. Gigi Dall'Igna doesn't know which way to look. He's got one rider in 1st, one rider in 3rd. Into turn 5 we go. Dovizioso, Marquez, Lorenzo, and in 4th we're on board with Maverick Viñales. You can see the problems just in that shot with acceleration for Yamaha at the moment. That was quite clear. Through turn 6 and 7. Marquez, as usual with Marquez, he's had a massive moment. But he's still in this, and he's still well on to try and fight for victory. He's up against his old foe at the moment, the man he fought with in Qatar at the start of the year, the man he beat to the World Championship in 2017.
Looks like Joao Zarco is also struggling to run this increased, hotter, faster pace at the front. Dovizioso was a little bit wide going into Mandeville, but he was able to pull it back, not letting Marc Marquez sweep through.
Marc Marquez fancies another go at leading this to see if his pace now.
I'll tell you who's looking really, really strong as well. He's the man in 4th place, Viñales. Viñales spells victory here.
Everyone's looking strong. Every time I look around, someone else is flying, and Rossi's now having a look at his teammate Viñales into the chicane and does it. His favourite move here in Assen. 10 laps to go.
It's like cut and paste for Rossi at the Timber chicane, isn't it?
Dovizioso then into turn 1, leading from Marquez and Lorenzo. This is the section where Marquez glows. Cal Crutchlow, again, we thought he was out of it. He's come back into the frame again, but he's just at the back of the group. Finding it hard to overtake at the moment is Cal Crutchlow. Championship standings, at the moment, I'll be honest, I don't really care. On to the back straight we go. Andrea Dovizioso on board with him and the power of that Ducati. Lorenzo then regrouping a bit in 3rd.
Yeah, we can confirm happily that the incident between Alex Rins and Marc Marquez, no further action will be taken as Jorge Lorenzo finds a way back through on Marc Marquez, and he's got that inside line now coming through Mandeville, top end of the circuit. Yeah, no further action to be taken. Sorry, it was Steckenvas, as we expected. You can't be handing out penalties for that. Nothing Alex Rins did wrong, just other than real serious, hard, aggressive racing.
Every time you rule someone out, they come back into contention here.
True.
It's just fantastic stuff. We're going to be in terms of laps remaining into single digits shortly, and they're all together again. It is the two Ducatis, and Lorenzo, he had a bit of a wobbly lap or two, but he's back, and look at these two Yamahas, Rossi and Viñales big and brave around the outside of Rossi into turn 15.
Brilliant that by Maverick Viñales. He's got some serious guts and some serious temerity to do that. Lorenzo then gets up the inside of his teammate. They run. Well, at least they're swapping the same paint, the two factory Ducatis. Dovizioso is going to have that inside line. He got the better drive coming out of Lorenzo at the final corner. Viñales now moves up on the inside of Marc Marquez. He keeps it tight on that inside line through turn number 2, so Marquez can't retaliate. What a race.
Everyone wants a piece of the action here in Assen. It's been awesome Assen so far. Around turn 4 we go. Now into turn 5, on board with Dovizioso. Tight line taken there from Lorenzo. That will bunch them all up again. And now we go. Sorry, we're on board with Maverick Viñales there.
You need a calculator to calculate how many overtakes there's been in this lead group. Phenomenal action here at the Dutch TT. Fitting we've got a classic race at such a classic venue as Lorenzo again finds his way through. He attacks Dovizioso, but he can't hold it through turn 7.
And again, it's like synchronized swimming. Look at this. They're just allowing everyone else in. This has lit the eyes up of Maverick Viñales, and just as he thought he was onto something, Marc Marquez makes 2 moves in 1.
And Lorenzo, in the blink of an eye, has gone gone from first to fourth place. Danilo Petrucci's crashed out. He was running in 12th place. Confirmation on your screens there of an early exit for the Alma Pramit Ducati man. He's down at turn number 5.
Brilliant stuff from Marquez. Buy one, get one free.
If you call a race win at the end of this one, well, good luck, because this is almost impossible to call. 8 and a bit laps to go.
Here we go then, into the Timmer chicane.
Vinales is going to be close enough to attack.
Rossi up the inside of Lorenzo in the background. He's now up into 4th place. So Lorenzo.
Well, Rossi's overtaken somebody, the Timmer chicane. Surely not.
Maverick Vinales, is he going to attack again on Marquez into turn 1? He's late on the brakes. Yes,
Rins.
he does.
Look at the top of your pitch there. Sorry, Steve Rins was getting that Suzuki, making all kinds of weird and wonderful shapes on the brakes. Thought he was going to move up the inside of Lorenzo. Is Lorenzo really struggling for grip at this stage of the race? Or Lorenzo then. Dovizioso with Vinales now. Really piling the pressure on, can't find a way through. Nice, tight, defensive line through Schruben.
Contact there, Rins and Lorenzo. You might be right, Matt. He did have a wobble a couple of laps ago, but this time it looks like it's really bad news for Lorenzo as he drops down another one. In the meantime, out front, Dovizioso, Maverick Vinales and Marc Marquez are all inseparable. And again, look at Maverick Vinales, a great move from Maverick.
He's got so much confidence as well. He was spinning up that rear tyre, that soft rear tyre. Lynn Jarvis looks like a bit of a fist pump. Still a long, long way to go in this race, but Maverick Vinales, believe it or not, that's the first time this year a factory Yamaha has led a Grand Prix in 2018.
Wow. That is a stat and a half, and it's their birthday as well. What a present it would be, but it ain't over. Look in 2nd place, Marc Marquez swarming on! Massive moment for Maverick Vinales.
He didn't even back off for a split second. How did he keep the momentum? How did he keep the drive to keep Marc Marquez and Andrea Dovizioso at bay? Rossi's not out of this. He won't be close enough to attack at the Timmer chicane this time around. Dovizioso might well be. No, he can't quite find a way through. That's the first lap.
He's
in about
wide.
10. Rossi's not made a move.
I can't.
The final chicane.
I don't know where to look, Matt. I honestly don't. Across the line, it's Maverick Vinales from Marc Marquez, Dovizioso and Rossi. A gap forming now. Back to 5th place, and Marquez leads into turn 1. Is he wide? No, he isn't. Bit of a mistake from Vinales on exit.
Vinales' lead didn't last very long then, did it? It looks like we've got a 4-way shootout between Marquez, Vinales, Dovizioso and Rossi for the victory in this 70th Dutch TT. What an anniversary race we've had for this crowd here. 105,000 fans packed into Assen. Boy, have they had their money's worth. And they've paid 4 times the ticket price for this kind of race.
Crucial moment here for Marc Marquez. He leads, he's going to try and check out, but this is a part of the circuit where Maverick Vinales is so quick. If he can't break away now, he won't break away at any point in the race. So here he is then, up ahead of Vinales. Dovizioso and Rossi just behind them. The fans, well, they don't know what to do at the moment. It is the Repsol Honda and Marc Marquez, the world champion, ahead of Maverick Vinales, who I think we can safely say is back in the game again.
Yeah, he's had 4 podiums in the last 19 races. What a barren run it's been for Maverick Vinales, but there he is, trying to keep the pressure on. Again, that soft rear tyre coming out of Duikersloot. He gets really loose.
Oh, and again, he's not scared. He's going for it. Full power.
I don't understand how he keeps getting the momentum and the drive when he's having so many massive moments on that soft rear tyre.
He just won't let go of the throttle. That's what's basically happening.
Yeah, keep it absolutely wide open pin. That's what Maverick Vinales' motto is.
6 to go in a classic here in the Netherlands. Marquez still has it from the 3 behind. They look like the only ones in contention at present. Vinales, Dovizioso and Rossi. Around turn 4, look at that. Maverick is glued to the back wheel of Marc Marquez. Around turn 4. Now into turn 5. Is he going to have a look? No. Defensive line again taken from Marquez.
The only differential in this top 4 is Andrea Dovizioso's rear tyre. They're all on the medium front. Marquez, Vinales and Rossi have got the soft rear tyre on. The only differential is Andrea Dovizioso's rear tyre. He's got the hard rear now. Will that pay dividends in these final 5.5 laps?
Just taking a moment to catch your breath. Here comes you can't catch your breath. Here comes Maverick. Oh, wow, they're side by side. Not around the outside, surely not. No, there's no room there.
Oh, he's made a massive...
And so is Marquez. They both have. And Dovizioso and Rossi go through. Every time you look at what's going on
they
here.
Just didn't want to give them. They just didn't want to give space to each other. They weren't willing to give each other a centimetre, let alone an inch on that tarmac. So there you go. Big mistakes for Marquez and Vinales. And Valentino Rossi now, he's going to try and be close enough to Dovizioso to make his favoured overtake, his famed overtake at the Timor chicane. Will he be close enough to get to Dovizioso on the brakes?
He is going to have a go up the inside, and Rossi leads here in Assen. 5 laps to go.
The doctor with surgeon-like precision on the brakes again and into the Timor chicane, and he leads for the first time. Valentino Rossi, it's a short-lived affair though. Dovizioso strikes straight back using the power of the Ducati out of that final chicane. Just 5 laps to go, as Steve said. Was Rossi about to attack again there, going through turn 2? This was the big moment between Marquez and Vinales going down into De Bolt. They just didn't want to give each other any room. Look at that, their knees rubbed against each other.
Incredible scenes here in Assen. 6 different riders have led this race, and there's still plenty more to come. At the moment, it is Dovizioso and Rossi together.
Marquez around the outside of the pair of them. He now leads. Where did that come from?
Into turn 6. Breathtaking stuff here in Assen. There's moments everywhere. No one wants to give up. Here comes Vinales on Rossi, and up the inside he goes.
And look at this, Steve. The big car up at the front, all of a sudden out of nowhere, Alex Rins and Cal Crutchlow can now win the Dutch TT from nowhere.
Marc Marquez it is then, that now has the edge. Andrea Iannone is going to get a 2-second penalty, but he's not in the race here for the win. He's way back in 10th place. We've got to focus on this. Cal Crutchlow, you're right. Rins and Crutchlow are back in it again. With 5 laps to go and nearly 4 to go in a moment. Here comes Vinales again. He is desperate for this. He is hungry. Dovizioso quick around turn 14. Around 15 we go.
Oh, my tonsils are about to jump out my throat here. What a race. Here comes Rossi again. Has he done it again? The Timor chicane? Of course he has. Valentino Rossi on Maverick Vinales through back into 3rd place. Then the start of lap 22. 4 to go here in Assen. It's Marquez, Dovizioso, Rossi, Vinales, Rins and Crutchlow. 22 laps of breathtaking action in Assen. The top 6, they're still covered by just 8/10 of a second after all this racing.
Oh, just unbelievable stuff. Here we are then on board with the Ducati rider, Andrea Dovizioso, around turn 4. Now we'll chuck it left into turn 5, and he'll wind up the Bologna back machine onto the Vinschlag. There's Crutchlow. We've got to focus on these leaders. It is Marc Marquez, the power of the Ducati coming through now into turn 6. Rossi trying to hang on to them in 3rd place. This is an area now where Maverick Vinales comes into his own and has been so strong. Rins and Crutchlow still in contention, 5th and 6th.
Bit of movement there for Alex Rins on that hard rear tyre. Keeps it all gathered up though. De Bolt for the 23rd time asking. This was the lap, or the corner where Vinales and Marquez got it all horribly wrong. A couple of laps to go, ran wide and let Dovizioso and Rossi sweep through. Is Dovizioso going to be able to fire that Ducati out of the weaker slit and get close to Marquez to attack him? This is where the Ducati's been weak throughout most of the weekend, and Marc Marquez just, what, 2 or 3 bike lengths now ahead of Dovizioso, making sure that he's not going to come under attack into the final chicane. A rare lap as well that Valentino Rossi can't find a way through on anybody at the final chicane as well. So 3 down, or 3 to go now. Marquez over Dovizioso, his advantage 0.3 of a second.
That was Marquez, one of his faster laps of the race. Into the mid-34s he goes with 3 laps remaining. They won't want to lose sight of him here. Simon.
Guys, I have to admit being bewildered at a Rossi debrief on Friday when he said we need to work on the straight line braking, and I was kind of confused because Assen's so flowing and fast, and now I've clicked what he's how clever is he? He's been working since Friday on this chicane to be able to pass people in the last turn.
Well, he's just been so good there over the years. Is it going to pay off for him here though in the race? At the moment they're all trying to cling on to Marc Marquez. He's just increased the gap to almost half a second here. This could be the moment where they say goodbye to Marc Marquez. Is this going to be the fastest lap of the race coming from the world champion?
Yeah, he's trying to pull the pin here, isn't he? Definitely Marc Marquez has got his head down. It's hammer mode, Jorge Lorenzo style here for Marc Marquez. There's the biggest gap we've seen all race in terms of the lead. He's really stretching the field here. Valentino Rossi may feel that he's got to find a way through quickly on Dovizioso. Otherwise, Marc Marquez is going to be checking out. There's going to be only 2 laps to go when they cross the line this time around. Marquez, he's almost 6.5 tenths clear. De Rossi, that's brilliant. That is awesome. Up the inside of Dovizioso. Is it too little, too late though? Rossi starts the charge towards Marc Marquez, whose lead is over a second for the first time in this race. And Dovizioso has got through on Rossi. This is the worst possible scenario. Rossi's out wide, forced out wide by Andrea Dovizioso. Is that Valentino Rossi's, not his victory hope's gone, but what about his podium as well?
Yeah, well, he was just desperate not to give it up. He wants to try and chase down Marquez, and guess what? Marquez sticks in his fastest lap of the race. It's a 34.2 from Marquez.
Rins has been brilliant at Struben, turn number 5, and Alex Rins now finds himself back onto the podium. It'll be only his second podium in the MotoGP World Championship. Marc Marquez on that last lap around set his fastest lap of the race. What a time to find this kind of pace. 1:34.2, that was the predicted pre-race pace, and Marc Marquez has fired it in on the penultimate lap. Brilliant. Crutchlow was out wide at Steckenval. That's let Rossi back through.
1.5 laps remaining here in Assen, and they've just let...
They've got nothing for him, Steve.
No, they've let him
Marquez
go.
on this lap already has taken half a second. They haven't got anything in response. This has been a stunning, stunning late charge by Marc Marquez. He's leaving them for dust here.
Now he finds his rhythm at the perfect moment of all. Alex Rins in the meantime there, trying to find a way past Maverick Vinales for second. There's a door open, he's not close enough, and we're going to begin the final lap of the race. And Rins charges here to try and get past Vinales, and Marc Marquez is going to have a 1.5 second lead across the line.
Yeah, what's this lap time going to be? A 1:34.5 from Marc Marquez. He's the only rider in the 1:34s. You may say that Marc Marquez, the way he's ridden these last 2 laps, was probably just playing with these guys for 23 laps, because look at the way he's been able to streak away. He's doing it with ease. Nobody else on that last lap around was in the 1:34s. Marquez did a 1:34.5. Dovizioso did a 35.8, 1.3 seconds slower than Marc Marquez. He's crushing them late on.
Well, it's been quite a breathtaking race and an unbelievable show here. But Marc Marquez could be taking the headlines, and this could be a hammer blow to his opponents in the World Championship for 2018.
Well, he's going to continue his proud record, barring any massive, massive late mistake. He's never finished off the podium in a MotoGP race here in Assen. He's on course, well on course for his 9th successive podium finish, and he's well on course as well, of course, to extend and increase his World Championship lead, going to a circuit which he adores, which he loves, the Sachsenring in Germany. What about this battle for second place between Vinales and Rins? Alex Rins, he wants that career best second, that's for sure.
Here we come then around the final few corners. There's battles going on everywhere for second and third and fourth and fifth, and Rossi's going to have a go at Andrea Dovizioso. You can bet your bottom
Rins has got him. Rins has got him at the Ramshock. Alex Rins is going to take second place surely, but it's been majestic Marquez in Assen.
Up the inside for Rossi. What a race this has been. Marc Marquez wins an absolute stunner here in Assen, and it's so close for third. Rossi's messed it up. It's Rins who gets second place, Vinales third, Dovizioso fourth. What a last 3 laps from the world champion.
Incredible, look at his celebration. He knows that was a real tough battle. What a race. Right from the get-go, Jorge Lorenzo coming from 10th to lead, but Marc Marquez has done it in brilliant fashion. Top ride by Alex Rins. What a performance by him. Second MotoGP podium of Alex Rins' career. It's his best ever result in MotoGP. He was third, of course, in Argentina. He got Maverick Vinales with a daring move, a bold move at Ramshock on the final lap.
Wow. What an amazing spectacle we've witnessed here in Assen. Maverick Vinales, he's shaking his head. He's back on the podium. But, I mean, they have just been involved in something rather special.
There they have, and it's now, we can say, a full calendar year since Yamaha last took a victory, although Maverick Vinales, he threw it all on the line in that race.
The man who's going to be really upset through all of this is going to be Valentino Rossi. Having been in second place, that moment with Andrea Dovizioso, he just didn't want to give it up, and unfortunately it's cost him the chance of the podium. What a race that was.
I wouldn't fancy the job of counting just how many overtakes were in that lead group. through 26 pulsating, enthralling laps here in Assen. That's why we love MotoGP so much. What a fantastic race. Great scenes for the factory Suzuki team as well. Alex Rins, this was his first race coming back from injury last year. He qualified 17th and finished nowhere in 17th. In fact, he was lapped in those mixed conditions, and here he is a year later in second place, and this was a bold move at the Ramshoek. Rossi at the final chicane, he did have a lunge up the inside of Andrea Dovizioso, as you'd expect him to do, but he just couldn't pull it up on the brakes, and there he is, he just runs in a little bit hot. Dovizioso says thank you very much on the gut back, and he takes 4th.
You see the replay of it then, Rossi there just making the move on Andrea Dovizioso, yeah, not working at all. Almost running out of circuit. And this, the battle, I tell you, it's a lot closer than it looked, and in the record books, when you look back and you see Marc Marquez had won by 2.2 seconds, it would not tell you the tale of what we have witnessed here today, but when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and once again, Marc Marquez proves what he's got. He's going to take a 41-point lead into the Sachsenring in 2 weeks' time, where he's never lost.
Certainly not in MotoGP. I mean, laps 24 and 25 really blew the field away. Nobody had anything for him. He dropped down to low 134s. Nobody else could match that kind of pace. Outstanding ride by Alex Rins, though. Fantastic job by him. Suzuki have never had a podium finish here in MotoGP. John Hopkins and Chris Vermeulen were 5th here in 2007 and 2009, respectively. So that's the best ever result in the modern MotoGP era for a Suzuki. So congratulations to Alex Rins. An all-Spanish lockout of the podium.
Great scenes here for the Suzuki team. They needed that, and Maverick Vinales, feels like quite a long time since we've seen him in Parc Ferme.
I think I'm right in saying, Steve, as well, just looking at some of my old stats, that's got to be the closest top 15 we've ever had in history. Just 16 seconds at the checkered flag, splitting the point scoring finishes. I think I'm right in saying that the last closest top 15 was the opening round of the season in Qatar, 23 seconds.
You could well be right there.
I'm pretty sure that is correct, but 16 seconds between the top 15, and unfortunately, the man in 15th place was Dani Pedrosa, who had an instantly forgettable weekend. He knows how massive that was for the championship, doesn't he?
The first time he's won in Assen since 2014, and we all know what happened that year. The thing is, though, Matt, you know, when you're involved in encounters like that and you know you've worked for it, it means even more. And you can see from the celebrations, it's the most important victory of the year. This is after he almost came off the bike, let's not forget, at the exit of turn 5.
I'm sure he's going to say that ranks as one of his best wins in his career. To be fair, he's got a few to pick from. That was a brilliant job. You can tell with Marc Marquez when they've been races that not only has he enjoyed, but he's really had to work hard for. I mean, that was, I'd say, one of his better wins for sure. Those lap 24 and lap 25, nobody had anything for him. He just absolutely fired in 2 of the best laps of the race, and it just destroyed them.
Winning on days like this, does it get any better, really? You've had a race where no doubt you've had a grin on your face at times, you've had a frown on your face at others, you think you're down and if you crashed out. We said that they're going to have to rough him up a bit, and I think they did more than that, but they still can't stop him.
Yeah, Andrea Dovizioso smiles back on his face. Nothing else he could have really done. Of course, he wanted to be on the podium. He missed out by just 1/10 of a second, 4th place. But he now knows what it feels like to be in a Moto3 race, at least. Only this time around, they're on 270 horsepower, fire-breathing MotoGP bikes. It was a race that will live long in the memory. Yeah, I think that's the moment where Valentino Rossi's just explained to Uccio what happened with Jorge Lorenzo. Yeah, he's just saying there, I got away with that one because I would imagine that part of the course, you're in 6th gear. Lorenzo lost the front end, and then
This is where it went wrong for Rossi. He was in second, he wouldn't give it up, he got on the power, and then he's had to go off circuit. He was into second place at that point. Mark, to be fair, already had this one in the bag at that point, but he'll be upset about this one.
does anybody know of a dark room nearby? I need a long glide down. I can already feel a sore throat coming on.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad it's the end of the day.
Oh, did you not get the memo about him to commentate on the Red Bull rookies, mate?
After the flag is going to sound like Barry White and co. Fantastic race that we've just witnessed here in Assen.
They know that that was the moment when Valentino Rossi's hopes of a victory were over.
A few words there between Dovizioso and Rossi. There you go. That's what happens. That's racing. Rubbing is racing.
I was going to say, I didn't really see anything that Valentino Rossi did untoward there. I mean, it's just proper, good old-fashioned hard racing. Good to see Maverick Vinales back on the podium. He's had his problems this season. It's his first podium since he was second from pole position at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas. So, not the win he wanted to end Yamaha's long run. But there you go. Today is Yamaha's 63rd birthday, so still some reason to celebrate. Jorge Lorenzo, well, we know he's been brilliant starting in Mugello and in Barcelona, but today he was almost taking the mickey. I mean, from 10th place to lead on the first lap. I don't think even Jorge Lorenzo's had a better start than that. That was sensational. Absolutely mind-blowing stuff from Jorge Lorenzo. He ran out of steam, though, at the end of the race. Down into 7th place. Cal Crutchlow yet again. I think it's the third race on the spin now that Cal Crutchlow's been the top independent team rider. Probably just saying to Marc Marquez, come on mate, give us a break, will you?
Similar problems for Cal though. That's the seat unit there at the back that had the contact with Valentino Rossi at the highest of speeds. The pair of them really lucky to stay on at that point. Jorge Lorenzo losing the front at turn 12.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a real scary moment.
We're going to watch it now. Here we are then.
Here we go. Look
over 220 kilometers an hour.
Fifth gear.
Bang.
Dear me.
At 195 kilometers an hour with the contact.
Valentino Rossi's eyes were out on stalks there, weren't they? Jorge Lorenzo, he wouldn't have seen that replay, but he would have definitely felt the contact. The pair of them really lucky. Lorenzo actually did an outstanding job. It was an unbelievable, phenomenal save, losing the front end there. Here comes Maverick Vinales then on Yamaha's 63rd birthday. It's been a long way for him to be on the podium since Texas at round 3 in Austin. What a race to be involved in. He's on an all-Spanish podium and he's talking to Simon in Parc Ferme.
Welcome back, Maverick. You look really strong. Even at one stage, you looked like winning. You must be pleased.
Yeah, for sure, I'm pleased. Not pleased because I thought I could win. But anyway, I got a problem on the arm. I could not stop the bike as I want. And I get very ARPA on the right side. And was difficult, tricky race. But I'm happy that the bike was on the level, we were on the level. And I was able to get fun on the bike again.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He was able to have fun on the bike again, yeah. Good we could hear that, because if he didn't enjoy that one, he's never going to enjoy another motorcycle race in his career. What a race, as we said it was. I'm led to believe, my stats were correct for once, the closest top 15 in history. Alex Rins then, Suzuki's best result since Vinales' win at Silverstone a couple of years ago. Second, a career best in MotoGP for Alex. He's talking to Simon.
Alex, that was race of the year so far. You had a few contacts in there. You must be pleased with second.
Incredible. I have no words. It was a very difficult race. This morning I was feeling very sick on my stomach, but thanks to Clínica Móvil and all the doctors and for sure my team and all the people come here to support us, the truth is that was a very fantastic race and difficult.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, there's nothing like a podium to remedy a few sickness bugs going around. What a ride by Alex Rins. We all know what it's like when you've got a bit of a dicky stomach as well. It can make you feel a little bit drained of energy. But he had the best race of his MotoGP career by a long, long way. Second podium of the season for him. Suzuki's best result in MotoGP by a long, long way. And we're about to hear from the man of the moment. What a race, what a victory for Marc Marquez, increasing his World Championship lead to 41 points. He's down in Parc Ferme. Magic Marquez with Simon Crafer.
Mark, you were favourite coming into this race, but you really had to work for it. Tell us how it was for you.
Yeah, during the practice I was so comfortable, a good rhythm, but I already expect before the race that here will be difficult to open a gap because the wind was so strong on the back straight and yeah, the other when catch the slipstream was much easier. So then I decided to wait, but in that transition was a big fight. I mean, fight with everybody. I think everybody have a contact with everybody. Was something that looks like Moto3, but in the end I tried to push, I tried to manage the tires, and yeah, last 4 laps I give everything for open that small gap that give me that 25 points.
Big congratulations, Mark.
Yeah, last 4 or 5 laps he gave everything. He gave everything and more. One of the best wins of Marc Marquez's Grand Prix career. And as we said, he's got a fair old selection to choose from. I mean, where do you start? I mean, there was just...
Well, the thing is, we've got to somehow analyse this race in 10 minutes a bit later. I'm not sure how we're going to do that.
I'm going to have a wild guess, Steve. There's got to have been more than 100 overtakes.
Someone will be working that out.
Yeah.
I mean, there must be. It was ridiculous. 6 different riders, I believe, led the race. And yeah, I mean, just breathtaking from everyone. Do you know what? There was a couple of moments where riders touched here and there, but on the whole, Matt, these are the best riders in the world going at it, flat chat, and it was clean. You know, it was brilliant. It was MotoGP at its finest.
Yeah, it was an awesome race, one that's going to live long in the memory. Look at that, Marc Marquez. I think he was pretty happy with that one, and why wouldn't he be? Only the second time he's stood on the top step of the podium here in Assen.
You know, they're the races you dream of winning, Matt. You know, riders obviously, they like to go out front and lead for a long time, and you know that feels good because it's, you know, a little easier for them, although easy is probably not the right word. But when you dream of winning MotoGP races, they're the ones that you dream of winning. It's the last-minute goal, you know, in a World Cup final.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
fantastic.
Couldn't agree more. That was easily the best race we've seen so far this year. My tonsils are crying for mercy at the moment. That was 41 minutes, 13.8 seconds of pure theatre, pure adrenaline. And you can hear the reception that these riders are getting, and quite rightly so. The crowd appreciated that. They love that. Here comes Marc Marquez then. What a win. What a victory for the Repsol Honda man. Any more shouts and chants like that, he's going to have a sore throat just as bad as us, isn't he? Repsol Honda then will collect the Constructor Trophy. 4th win in 8 now for Marc Marquez. He was victorious in Texas, in Jerez and in Le Mans. Only the 5th podium in the last 20 races for Maverick Vinales. Good to see him back on the podium for the first time since Austin. The 23-year-old Spaniard. This is his 53rd career podium finish, his 13th and his 62nd Premier Class appearance. It's a career best MotoGP finish for Alex Rins. What a second place for him, the 22-year-old from Barcelona. His 42nd career podium, just his 2nd in the MotoGP World Championship. Suzuki's best result here at Assen in the modern MotoGP era. But today, again, was all about one man. The 25-year-old Spanish rider, Marc Marquez, taking the winner's trophy. It's his 108th podium finish, his 69th in MotoGP, his 39th career victory in the Premier Class, 65th overall. And marvellous Marc Marquez. The show rolls on to his beloved Germany in 2 weeks' time.
Well, if you're tuning into that today and you're not entertained, you're watching the wrong sport. It just does not get any better than that. An unbelievable race that will be talked about for some time to come. And I tell you what, it just goes to show. Okay, Marc Marquez had the pace all weekend and we've been bigging him up to win the race, but it just, well, look, you can see there, tweets coming in already. Jenson Button, MotoGP, I love you. Congratulations, Marc Marquez, for an epic win.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that we love MotoGP as well. That was absolutely jaw-dropping entertainment from start to finish. Kind of wish we were going straight to the Saxon ring now, because that's a mouth-watering prospect. Can anybody beat Marc Marquez? Eric Banner, of course, the Aussie actor. Can we just race at Assen every week? Well, if we get any more races like that, that was brilliant.